Do you ever feel like no matter how much your partner reassures you, it's never enough? You still question if they really love you or are they going to leave you? That constant doubt, it's not because you're broken, it's insecurity. And it's quietly sabotaging all your relationships. But here's what most people don't realize. It usually starts long before love ever entered your life. I know because I lived it for 25 years. In this video, I'm going to help you go from insecure to secure so you can stop second guessing, start feeling safe, and build the kind of connection that actually lasts. But if you don't break the cycle, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen, and it's not pretty. What's going on, guys? My name is Fausto Castellanos. I'm a motivational speaker, clinical counselor, and spiritual advisor. But most importantly, I'm somebody who's battled with addiction, trauma, mental health, codependency, and insecurities. I was so insecure. I would overthink things, second guess things, get paranoid, push people away. And the crazy part was I used to think everybody else was the problem. And then I realized that I was the problem. My insecurities were the reason for all my failed relationships. And I truly believe that those who hurt the most heal the most. And there's a lot of people out there that claim to be gurus, life coaches, and healers who are hurting you more than helping you. And I'm somebody that's not only been through the pain, but I've walked through it the healthy way, went to school to get educated in it, and I've helped over tens of thousands of people due to a mentor of mine who allowed thousands of people a week at his house for free to find hope, to find inspiration, and to find healing. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about where do insecurities come from, how they show up in your relationships, and how to break that cycle. Now, this is going to be an important video. You might be the insecure person, and this is going to benefit you. You might be dating someone insecure, and you really want to make that relationship work so you can share this video with them. And I'll tell you what, I've worked with a lot of people, and I've seen people in their 70s never heal their insecurities, and they end up alone. That's a fact, and that's a true story that happens a lot. So this is why it's important for you to really watch this video so you can break that cycle, because if you don't, you will be alone for the rest of your life. So let's start off right here. Where do insecurities come from, right? What's the root problem? Why are you insecure? And this is very important because this is what we're going to have to look at to be able to change that. So insecurities come from three things. 1, abandonment. 2, neglect. And 3, criticism. And this grows through repeated rejection, betrayal, and inconsistent affection. So if you can relate to those things and you grew up not feeling good enough, not feeling seen, feeling invisible, or being bullied and picked on, maybe your dad was a narcissist, maybe mom was very critical, maybe the people around you were mean to you, maybe you always felt like you were never enough because they never gave you attention. And in life, if you had that stuff reinforced by people around you, it makes that belief even more true. And so what's happening is you have a foundation that's built on insecurity. So you're always looking for things to prove your worth, right? Overcompensate, overdo, overcommit. You try to be perfect. You try to be the funniest. You try to look the best, be the best. But you always find yourself feeling like no matter what you do, what you say, or how you look like, it never really removes the insecurities at all. And that's because it never will. And then this is what can develop attachment styles, which I'm sure you heard of. So you can develop an anxious attachment or an avoidant. Anxious is the person that's usually always in relationships, right? Always trying to hold on. You're always holding on to something longer than you should. You're a serial dater because the fear of being alone is scarier. So you'd rather stay in things over and over again. That's why your single life usually lasts about a day or about a week, and then you jump back into something. And then you have the avoidant attachment style. Now that was a person who understands that if nobody gets close to me, then nobody can hurt me. Now that person's going to battle with a lot of depression because you're going to feel alone. You're going to feel a lack of connection. And so even though you're pushing people away or staying guarded to protect you, it's actually hurting you because deep down inside, you do want that connection. You just don't want to get hurt because in your childhood, you were betrayed, you were neglected, you were abandoned. So that's where it stems from. So if you can relate to those things, that's where the root problem happened. Now, 2, what we're going to talk about here is how does this show up in relationships? 1, you need constant reassurance. You ask if they still love you, not because they changed, but because your inner critic changed. You always feel like they don't love you or they're going to leave. So you're always looking for something to prove that that's true, right? Because you're trying to get ahead of it to prove that they're going to leave or they don't love you. So you're secretly manipulating, right, in a subtle way for them to prove that they do love you and do care about you. But the crazy thing is they can tell you a million times. And guess what? It's still never enough. 2, jealousy and control. You snoop, question their friends, or feel threatened by their independence. Not because you don't trust them, pay attention. Not because you don't trust them, it's that you don't trust your inner critic in here. The person up here is a person that's telling you not to trust. Now, this is deep because then you understand it's not that you don't trust them, you don't trust what's going on in your head. Because remember, you're so used to people lying to you, hurting you, betraying you, and leaving you that because it's happened to you before, you expect it to always happen, right? You always expect the worst. And the closer you get to somebody emotionally, the more that fear becomes real. Because when someone's close to you, that means they're close to your heart. If they're close to your heart, then that means they have the ability to hurt you. Now, this is something you got to understand, right? Nobody wants to be with somebody who's jealous or controlling. So it's funny, right? What we do to protect us actually pushes people away. 3, overthinking and self-sabotage. You start fights before things get too good. Test them, push them away, and then hate yourself after. Self-sabotage is when you think something's going to happen. So instead of you allowing it to happen because you'll have no control over that, you're going to cause a problem to happen because you are in control of it. So that's why you'll blow up things before they get really good, because subconsciously you're trying to protect yourself from that happening. And number 4, this is a big one. Misunderstanding neutral behavior as rejection. If they're quiet, you assume they're mad. If they need space, you feel abandoned. Now, this is a big problem because you're going to read into neutral behaviors as it being dangerous. And that's why you have a hard time letting people have their independence, having their space. You overthink things like when a text doesn't come on the right time or how something's written or their tone of voice. And so it's nothing bad, but we interpret it as bad. And then we overreact based on that thing that we think it is. Then it creates even more problems and more problems. And again, nobody wants to be with somebody who's paranoid like that because it could be overwhelming. It could be suffocating. That's why a lot of the times our insecurities think everyone's going to leave us. And then we're like, well, I have proof that people leave. There's a lot of people that I dated and guess what? They did leave me. So I am right. It's like, no, insecurities push people away, not because you're not good to be with. It's that these behaviors that you think that are protecting you are actually hurting you. And it reinforces that belief. I've dated women that I viewed as hotter than me. So I was always in fear that they're going to leave me because I don't view myself as that attractive. So when they were hyper independent, I thought they were cheating on me. I thought they were doing stuff behind my back. Anytime I felt like they were mad at me, I would overcompensate with extra love or try to manipulate as if they did something wrong so I can fix it, so I can feel like I have value. And what I realized is that my obsessiveness, because I'm afraid they're going to hurt me, made me very clingy to them. I didn't give them their space. I always wanted to hang out with them. And I was always intimidated by their friends, right? If they have guy friends that I view as more handsome than me, more manlier than me, have more money than me, I mean, anything, it would make me feel super attacked and insecure. And so then I overreact. I overcompensate. And so it's no wonder why all these girls would break up with me or leave me. Who would want to be with somebody like that? It's not fair for them that I'm assuming things that aren't even happening and putting it on them. And right here is a deeper impact. Like, this is a serious thing, so pay attention to this. Insecurity doesn't just hurt you. It pushes people away that you love. It breaks trust. It turns love into survival. The people that you date are going to feel like caretakers to you. We don't want that. Nobody wants to be our parent. It creates a dynamic where you're always anxious and your partner always has to feel like they have to be on this defensive mode. We don't want them to feel like that. Eventually, the relationship becomes so emotionally exhausting for our partner that they can't be with us no more. They love us, but emotionally they can't handle being around us because we're draining them. We're hurting them. We're exhausting them. I wonder why they want to leave. And this is why it's up to you to please pay attention to this next part, because this is the part how to break that cycle. Do it for the people that you love. Do it for your family, your friends. Do it for the person that's going to come into your life that you want to build a life with. Do it for your partner if you have one right now to save the relationship. So right now, here are the 4 ways to start the healing. 1, name the fear. What are you really afraid of? Is it being left? Not being enough? Because once you name it, you can tame it. See, mine was, I don't feel lovable. I feel ugly. I feel not worthy and I don't feel manly. Those are my 4 beliefs created from my childhood because my dad was a narcissist. So I never felt like I was enough. Push and pull relationship. So to me, you had to earn love. Second thing was when I was in first grade, there was this girl who was probably a 4th grader and she bullied me. She stole my Game Boy, manipulated me. And then when I told my mom, because I realized I didn't have my Game Boy, right? Very innocently, I got my Game Boy back and she started calling me names and picking on me. And it's crazy. It sounds so simple, but that was my first experience with a woman at a young age. And it really messed me up the way I view myself on top of how my dad was. So when I found that, and then the bullies that I had reinforced that, and I was already shy as it was. And then I had girls in my past from like 7th grade, 8th grade, very innocently, that would break out with me and get with another boy, which I viewed it was a more manlier man than me, right? In my brain. And so that's where it all started. So I had to name it. So name, what is the fear that you have that causes your insecurity? And where does it stem from exactly? Find the narrative and the experience from your past. Because once you can name it, this is the beginning where we can tame it. 2, journal the triggers. So as you go through your day, pay attention to when you're in the relationship, when the triggers come up. Because when you write about it, it separates that emotion from making it real. Because remember, it comes from your childhood and a trigger is a reminder of something you need to heal. So if you figure out where it comes from, when the trigger arises in the moment and you journal it, it's going to help you understand this is where you need to focus on to heal it. See, for me, when my girlfriend would try to give me constructive advice, I would react. Nobody wants to be with someone reacting. But when I started journaling that I get triggered by correction, the reason why it triggered me is because my dad would always criticize me. But then I realized my girlfriend is not my dad. She's not criticizing me. She's trying to help me. Because see, that's the thing with insecure people. People are trying to be good to you, but you're going to read into it as they're being bad to you. And that's a scary thing because then how are you ever going to allow people into your life when you're reading into it incorrectly? So that's why journaling the triggers is so important. So you can be clear on what's happening to change it. 3, inner child work. Please do this. Like you don't understand, this will change your life. So inner child work, there's different ways to go about it. You can do it in therapy. You can do inner child meditations. You can do journal prompts where you write with your opposite hand. You can do drawings. For me, what I did, it's inner child meditation. I'll put the link in the description. And it takes you to this place. It's like 25 minutes. I did it in my car in front of like a grocery store at nighttime. So I can have like the, really loud in my car, but quiet outside. And it took me back to my childhood, to those moments where, like I told you, I was bullied, traumatized, where that negative belief was implanted in my brain as a kid. And I got to relive that experience in this meditation. But then I'm an adult and I get to kind of watch it from afar and let my younger self know like, hey, none of this stuff is true about you. You are good enough. You are lovable. You are needed. You do have value. You are attractive. These are just hurt people around you hurting, pouring it onto you. So that really helped me heal, right? Didn't fix everything, but there was a layer of healing that happened because I felt a weight lifted off my shoulder. So for you, you can explore that meditation, buy a book on inner child work, see which one works for you. Because you got to heal your inner child by reparenting it in order to change the way that you react today. 4, and this one's going to be an ongoing one. Now, in order for all this to work in your relationship, this one is super important. And it's communicate without blaming. So when you're working through these things with your partner, you need to experience you communicating the right way with your partner to work through your insecurities to know that you're safe. This is how you're going to rewire yourself. So you'll only be able to heal so much when you're single on your insecurities. And then the next level is when you're in a relationship, more stuff's going to pop up that you can only heal with your partner as a team. So hopefully you're dating somebody who's willing to meet you where you're at to work through it together. Because if they won't, then this won't work. And here's an example of what I mean, how to communicate with each other. Instead of, why didn't you text me back? Try, hey, when I don't hear from you, it brings up my fear of being ignored. That creates connection and not conflict. See, you're aware of what you're feeling. You're not saying it's true. You're saying, I'm feeling this when you do this, right? So what you're doing is you're creating a safe space so they can reassure you like, oh, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm actually just X, Y, and Z. But thank you for sharing that. If you ever need reassurance as this arises for you to work through this, to know that I'm not ignoring you. Because remember, you are the way that you are because of the way you grew up. That wasn't your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal. So when you communicate these things with your partner, Like I told you earlier with my time figuring out my girlfriend's not criticizing me, she's actually trying to help me. And I'm just feeling like it's criticism because my dad did that. And when she was able to make me feel safe when I communicate that with her, I'm able to not react when she's trying to help me. Because I'm like, oh, wait, you're just trying to help me. You're not my dad. And I'm safe enough with her to say that. She doesn't judge me. So you want to learn how to communicate with your partner what you think is happening in love, right? Not attacking them. You're saying, this is why I feel, right? Use I statements when you do this. And they can help you be like, well, that's not what's happening. And then you receive that. So healing. So learn to communicate without blaming. And the last one that I want to recommend, therapy, counseling, coaching, somebody that's a professional that can help you work through this as you're working on it in your relationship. So you need to have that. Now, how you go about that's up to you. So what I do want to offer is if you have any questions, because you've seen that I've been through insecurities for 25 years of my life, and now I'm secure and I'm in a healthy relationship for 3 years. I don't have a fear of abandonment, neglect anymore. Like I'm really happy and I have really good relationships. And it's actually pretty awesome to be secure. And I'll do a whole video on the struggles that when you go from insecure to secure. That's a crazy topic. We'll get into that in a future video, but that's a whole nother challenge, which is pretty fascinating. But if you have any questions that you want to work on for free, right? This is free. Leave a comment below on some insecurities that you want to work through. Comment on it. Let's talk back and forth to figure out how to help you through it. And anybody else that wants to get in this comments that has the knowledge, we can all help each other grow through it because we're going to need that. And this is not a one-time thing. Like, let's keep on commenting back and forth as you're working on it in yourself and in your relationship, because we don't need to go through this alone. We can go through this together. And I'll tell you what, I still go to therapy every month and I still have my people. And I always have that more in the beginning and it becomes less over time. But it's so important because we're always learning new things to work through. And it's nice to have someone to process it with, because sometimes you want to process it first and then bring it into the relationship. Now, before we get to the end of this, I wanted to share that one thing with you. I remember I was saying I had something to share with you, so pay attention. If you're not willing to do the work to work through your insecurities, just know that you will push people away for the rest of your life. You can't just pray or think or wish for this to go away. It's going to take a lot of work. I know a lot of people, myself included, where they don't want to face the truth. They just avoid it and jump into a relationship thinking this one will be different. This one will be different. And all they do is push the healing process further away. Like I said, I know people in their 70s that never healed their insecurities and they die alone. And I don't want that to be for you guys. So please, please, please start this journey of healing. Please comment below. Please, let's work on this together. I don't want you to go through that. I know what it's like. And I know what it's like on the other side of it. Your insecurity, it doesn't make you unlovable. It makes you human. But if you don't face it, it will cost you the very thing that you crave: connection. If this hit you in the chest, drop a comment with, I'm ready to heal. Drop a comment what you're going through so we can talk about it. And if you find this video helpful, check out the video that you'll see above on codependency, where I go even deeper on how to really work through this even more, because a lot of people who are insecure struggle with codependency as well. And before I let you go, separate topic, but I'm offering a free ebook on how to find purpose in your pain, completely free. It's in the description. Just another thing to help if that's something else you want to work through. My gift to you. So thank you again for watching this video, and I can't wait to see what you write in the comments.